Pulling out a new custom, guys. It's got a little bit more to it than the last one did. So what we're going to do a custom of today is Uncle Richard's 1957 Chevrolet 3800 flatbed. And I'm going to do my best to make it look rusty like it does in the picture. So the hardest part of this custom was finding a 1/64 scale 57 Chevy that had this grill in it. This was the base model grill, unless you had a fleet option. This was the base model grill. This is a very plain Jane work truck. It has one mirror, and it's that little monocle mirror over there on the driver's side. And so he sold this, Uncle Richard sold this truck in, I think, 2017. And these were the pictures I took. I happened to be down there before his buddy that he sold it to came to pick the truck up, so I happened to be able to get some pictures of it, some good pictures. And I also was smart and took pictures of the wheels and the doors and everything that I thought I might need if I did a custom of the truck. There's how long ago this was. I look like I'm in about 5th grade, and I'm holding their hound dog, Heidi, which was a puppy then. So that's how long ago that's been. I've also spelled Heidi wrong on the file picture for this, but this truck has a Midwest Truck Bodies bed on it, but that's not the original bed on the truck. The original bed is made of wood, and Uncle Richard actually still has that bed, but our little model, unless I find some mud flaps off of an M2 truck, it's not going to have any mud flaps. But I've got good pictures of all the doors and wheels and things. I've even got the tow hitch set up on the back, which is going to be really hard to make. Probably won't have a spare tire, but these 3 little round lights will be pretty easy to paint on there. The rest of the tow hitch is going to be a job to try to make. I suppose I'll make it out of toothpicks. Rear license plate, I don't need to know that. That's not a great picture, but you can kind of see the back of the truck. I've got the ladder here. I have a ladder that's going to work perfect for that. I've got some mesh for the screen in the back of the bed so you can see out the back window. So I'm going to have to modify the bed I have, because the bed on this truck doesn't have the more modern style of rear end on one of these truck beds. And also the top of the bed is very square. As you can see, very square, very old style. It's also got this little toolbox down here, which I managed to get from Moore's Farm Toys. So I'm gonna do my very best to get this truck to look like this. And I probably have more pictures of it, but you guys get the idea of what it's gonna look like. Oops, that must be it. So let me run back to the beginning. That's what we're going for right there, minus the oil can on the front fender. And I'm going to try to make a license plate, although I will probably do something other than the real license plate because that's going to be hard to draw on that little bitty piece. So after seeing that video, I'm sure you can see what the plan is for this truck. I like the Maisto especially because it has the correct grille in it. I actually started this custom about 3 years ago. This was all the farther I got with it. I took the tampo off the side of it. Kinda. Most of it. And that was about it. Because I decided I was not ever going to get this to where I liked it because it had the wrong grille in it. And at that point I didn't have a bed that was going to fit on it. I actually didn't have a bed for this truck until very recently when I went to the farm show. I was going to make one using this piece of plastic sort of as a it's the right width and everything, so sort of just as a template, not necessarily that I was going to use it on the final product. But luckily Moore's Farm Toys had exactly what I needed, except it's not exactly what I need because I have to modify it. When you saw the back of that truck, you probably noticed. Now that's not the original bed for that truck, in case I didn't mention it, but you probably noticed that the bed doesn't exactly look like this. This bed's modern and it doesn't have corners on it, and it's got the lights built into the back of the bed. So this stuff down here has to go bye-bye, and then I have to make some corners up here. But this is still a nice little bed. Oh, I'm also going to cut out this little window here and glue a piece of screen over it, because they gave us a back window on this truck. And like I said, Uncle Richard sold this truck back in 2017, so it's been a hot minute since I've seen it. And I was thinking it had a toolbox on both sides of the bed, so I originally bought 2 of these little toolboxes, which begs the question of where I put the other one, unless I put it with something else for a different custom, which is highly possible because I knew later on, once I looked at the pictures again, that I only needed 1. And actually I'm going to glue it on the wrong way because that toolbox on that truck was really, it didn't have a door on it. It was just open, so I'm going to grind this out a little bit more so it's more square than oblong shaped, and then that's going to be it for this toolbox. So again, this came from Moore's Farm Toys. They have a website. I don't know what's on their website. I assume they sell stuff on there. I'm not sure. So I have one more rivet to drill out on this truck. We used the bed on Shaw's truck in the last custom that I did. I think this has relatively thick paint on it, so I'm gonna have to try kind of hard to get the paint off, but I think this is gonna be a good casting because I think this has a little bit more detail than what we can see. The paint's just so thick that it covers it all up. I'm gonna try not to booger it up the same way that Maisto did. Alright, so we can put the wheels aside because we're definitely not using those wheels for this truck. Oh, that's cool. Look how that goes in there. It's got little tabs on it, so it makes it harder to just pull it out. So I liked how the windows were put in with these little tabs on the sides. that made it a lot nicer to when I go to put this window back in this truck. I don't have to worry about the glue getting old and letting go in a few years. So I already had painted the turn signals on this truck because initially when I got this truck I don't think I had planned on doing a custom with it. But I might have because it had this grill and I'd been looking for a truck that had this grill in it. That's the base model grill. So I will go paint strip that and start cutting on this brand new bed. So you might remember this mater, which is kind of cute. It's a pullback. Mater's the world's best backwards driver, so it goes backwards. And he steers. So anyway, these wheels are perfect for this custom. I guess that would make sense because Mater's about the same vintage as this truck that we're working on. Back wheels are perfect. The front wheels are close enough to being perfect that they'll work. I'll have to just paint the whole works of them black because the tires are gray and also the wheels are not the right color. So I'm going to take this apart and figure out how to get the parts that I need, the axles and the wheels. So I'm seeing right now that the paint is lifted from the die cast but not necessarily come off of it, so hopefully it washes off okay. I have a feeling it will, but I just don't know. So I've got it all washed off for what all came off. There's some spots inside it, but number one, it's got black glass in it, so you're not really going to see that. And second off, even if you were going to see that, that paint that's inside is typical of very, very thin paint, and which that's a thin layer of paint inside because it's just all over spray. It doesn't come off as easily as thick paint because thick paint has more mass to it, and once the paint stripper gets under that thick paint, it just all comes up in sheets, as you saw when I washed this thing off. Thin paint doesn't do that. It comes off in little bitty flakes. So I'm working on building the frame for the bed here. Got the corners put on the bed, got the bed rails put on the bed, got the window cut out of the bed, which was quite a challenge. Oh, also I guess I have the back cut off of the bed as well. Ground the box out so it looks like a square box. Get the wheels and everything straightened out so that I can use all of that. Had to put the front wheels on a different axle and run the tube through there because even after lots and lots and lots of grinding, the tube was not, or the axles just weren't lining up right, and I couldn't cut it, strangely enough. So I gotta look at my picture, and when I got this thing from Johnny, I thought, I know what I'm gonna use that ladder for. So I got to look and see how many rungs the ladder on the truck has, and then from that I will cut this ladder to that many rungs and glue it on the side of the bed. So what I had to do was split the frame because the box, when the frame was one piece, the toolbox was not letting the axle was clearing, but the wheel wasn't. I'm letting everything dry. I don't want to stick that in there right now, but the tire was hitting that box, so I had to cut it, make a frame. There's bed rails again. There's the ladder. That's what I did with the ladder. Had to cut a rung out of it because that's how the ladder on the truck was. So that's what I had to do. And it doesn't look like it's lined up right, but I put the cab on it twice, and the cab lined up with it. Now, I also made a license plate for the truck, the front license plate, which is not going to match the plate that's on the real truck, but that's okay. So the last clip that you just watched was from July, and it is now the end of October, and I haven't touched the truck for about 2 months. So I am sorry that I don't have a video of me putting it together, but you wouldn't have been able to watch much of that anyway, because it was a bunch of my fingers getting stuck to everything. So you saw the fact that I lengthened the frame, and then I had to put toothpicks underneath the bed of the truck to raise the bed up so that it didn't rub on the back tires, which are not wanting to roll right now, but it does roll. I don't want to glue the truck back together, so I'm not going to roll it real hard right now. But they're loosening up now finally. But then I built a pretty rough version of the hitch assembly that was on this truck, and that's okay. That's rusty. It's going to be painted brown for the most part anyhow. I've got the window guard, which I cut out of an old screen, so that's on there. Like I said, the license plate, I detailed the grill already. I even painted an emblem on there. Oh, all the emblems except for that one apparently. So I'm gonna start studying my pictures of this truck and decide how I'm gonna paint the rust on it. This truck, just like that, could have been done, like I said, 4 months ago, something like that, but I've had a lot of things come up since July, and so I've tried to do some of the haul videos to keep some videos going, but I haven't had time to actually sit down and work on something. So I'm gonna study my pictures of Uncle Richard's truck, which is kind of hard since I haven't seen the truck for 4 or 5 years, because he sold it to a friend of his. So I am just going strictly by pictures. I've got plenty of pictures of it though, because one time before he sold it, but he still had it at his house, and I happened to be there, so I took a buttload of pictures of it. So I should be able to somewhat accurately represent his truck and not just a random 3800 Chevy truck. So what I did, I put all these pictures in an app called Box, which I think is similar to like Dropbox, which is more widely used. So I can look at these pictures and kind of figure out how I want to do this. I'm not going to paint so much of the green moss, it's not moss, but like algae that's on the bumper, as much as just the rust and things like that. It looks like I may have to break out the black paint for where the primer is showing through and not the rust. But I'm just gonna looking at the pictures and just go by that. I did on the model paint the gas cap chrome. The only chrome things on this truck are the emblems and the door handles, because this was the absolute most base model truck you could get. This driver's side mirror is the only mirror on the truck, and it's the little monocle mirror. But see, I even took pictures of the wheels. Like, I knew driver's side wheel is completely rusty, whereas the passenger side wheel is not. Truck doesn't have an interior, but it looks like I rode in this truck, but I sure don't remember it not having a cover on the seat other than where Uncle Richard sat. But anyhow, my little model doesn't have an interior, so I don't have to worry about it. So yeah, I'm just showing you guys so that you all got something to compare it to. That's very pixelated for some reason, but I can still tell where the rust is. Is that the last picture? Nope. See, driver's side wheel still has some black paint on it, and that might be. I even was smart and took a picture of the top of the truck. It does have some heavy frost on it, and I was drawing a picture of it over there in the corner, but it gives me enough to work with it. That's the last picture. So I've got quite a few pictures to work off of. I mean, it's enough for me to figure out. This real truck does have mud flaps on it, and they're a Midwest truck that put the original bed. This is not the original bed for this truck. The original flatbed for this truck doesn't have all of this steel on there. It's the headache rack on the back here. Everything is wood, but which Uncle Richard still has the original bed for this truck. But I got the ladder and the box and everything on there, so I'll be able to represent it pretty well. So I studied those pictures and a few more that I had, and it's still kind of drying up, so I'm not going to pick it up. But I'll give you guys some shots of the truck, and that won't dry so glossy looking. All right, so it's dry enough I can touch it and poke it and all those things. So I painted the rust, and I also went ahead and painted the lights in, and I told you I was going to do a different license plate. I can't write numbers that small, but I can draw I can draw a rebel flag if I can talk that small. So that's what it's got on it. I redid some of the chrome on the emblems. It's still not showing up very well on the camera, but it is there. Still, this one's kind of fragile. I wouldn't push this one around very much. But you guys will see the whole thing on the turntable. The bed's not really that rusty on the truck, just the part that's used. And then there's the thing on the back, which looks crooked for some reason. I'll have to fix that. So other than the back end of the truck, I'm happy with it. I'm not real happy with how the back part came out, but other than that, I'm happy with it. Not the greatest rusty job I've ever done, but I've wanted to do this custom for a while, and it's been sitting here waiting for me to paint the rust on it. So, like I said, it could have been done a long time ago if I wanted it to look new, but instead I kept it on here for several months, and I'll get it on the turntable for you guys. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Have a great day. I'll catch you in the next video, and I'm going to do something before I forget. I'm going to run through all the parts we used on this, because this has a menagerie of parts. This has a Maisto cab, windows, and grill, and the chassis. This has wheels, Mattel wheels from a Mater, the tow truck. It has a toolbox and a flatbed from Moore's Farm Toys, which is up there, right there, above Casey Bonkers. And then we have, to finish it out, a green light trailer hitch. So, kind of a menagerie of different parts, but I knew it was going to be. Oh, we also have a antique window screen. I guess it's antique, it's old, very old. So now I'll get it on the turntable for you. Thanks for watching, guys.